Class is dismissed, boys and girls.
You're in. Let's go!
Are you the man I'm supposed to see?
You may call me Pepe Sylvia. I was involved in some top secret projects within the past decade. All of it very unethical, off the books, not considered legal. What I'm about to tell you is top secret information that hasn't been said to anyone else on the outside.
You know who's behind all this?
You're asking the wrong questions. The who and what are just scenery. The questions you should be asking is, why? Why did they want this made? Why would they go so far to alienate the target audience? Who benefits from this?
I thought you said don't ask who.
Well, just this once ask.
So what does this have to do with Reboot the Guardian Code and my retrospective online?
ReBoot? Retrospective? Well, you see...
I think we are here to see completely different people.
Previously on the YTV Retrospective.
No, not that.
Check this out. Everybody. Check it out.
In January 2007, Mainframe Entertainment was going through some major changes. All of the original heads of the company, Gavin Blair, Ian Pearson, and Phil Mitchell, left the company. Its animation division geared less towards TV series and began work on more movies. Not just direct-to-DVD, but thinking larger, as they began working on theatrical releases. In 2013 and 2016, they helped make 2 theatrical movies, Escape from Planet Earth and Ratchet & Clank, based off the PlayStation video game series. However, both films were financial flops, and had to scrap a movie based off another video game series, Sly Cooper. Escape from Planet Earth was a financial and critical flop, mainly because their distributor was changing the script constantly, and thus wasting the time of the animators. The distributor was the Weinstein Company. The less said about that, the better. Along with all of these changes, there was a new owner and a name change. The new owners were WoW Unlimited Media. Mainframe Entertainment became Rainmaker Studios. Over time, they had the idea of getting back into television with one of the shows they've left open. To commemorate the return to television, their television division was given its previous name, Mainframe Studios. Tease after tease, they gave fans hope, until 2018, when a trailer was shown on YouTube, and thus led to the beginning of the twisted tale of our next show, ReBoot the Guardian Code. The story of the Guardian Code takes us to high school, where we find our main characters Austin, Parker, Tamara, and Trey enjoying their first day of school.
Am I happy to be here? We'll see. Change can be good.
All 4 of them are on the same team in a popular game called Cyber Guardians. They receive a notification that leads them to a mysterious room called Room 0. You would think a janitor would just end up in Room 0 by mistake. Well, everything is cleaned except this corner and...
Dark code detected.
I didn't touch anything, I swear! They end up becoming the avatars that they use in Cyber Guardians. Vector, Enigma, Googs, and Defrag. Where if they die in the game, they die for real. They also meet Vera an avatar that was permanently taken out of cyberspace and into the real world as a fish out of water. They have to stop the evil forces of cyber locusts, launched by a man who is a technological madman known as the Sorcerer. Yeah, that's how it's spelt. In the second episode, he forces a familiar face to work with him. Megabytes, giving him an upgrade in the process.
It seems I have been digitally enhanced.
Not a good upgrade, though. But admittedly, the new voice actor, Timothy E. Brummond, does an alright job almost copying the deep voice of the late Tony J.
Fair and balanced. This is news I can trust, unlike all that fake news.
The thing about this show is that it has a bit of a formula. A formula that may be familiar to some. The obvious ones would be Power Rangers, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, Code Lyoko, and oddly enough, one of Mainframe's own projects, Zix. I find it funny that ReBoot did a parody of that same formula.
You can't talk in these things.
I will admit that this series' acting was mostly meh at best and awful at worst. It's not necessarily the actor's fault in the situation. If anything, they were given nothing to work with, especially with the Sorcerer and Vera. Both going over the top with one trying too hard being a robot when she is actually an avatar.
They call me Vera. I'm the virtual evolutionary recombinant
She's an
avatar.
exchange student.
And the other, well, just watch.
Fully restored.
I won't be defeated!
Megabyte isn't the only character returning from the original series. Many would come back in one episode. And whoever you may ask may consider this episode to be the most memorable and possibly the most infamous episode of the series. The Season 1 finale, Mainframe Mayhem. Megabyte tries to barge back into his old home of Mainframe, which, oddly enough, was found by Austin's father and placed in Room 0. The Guardians investigate and end up finding Bob, voiced by his original voice actor, Michael Benier.
I am Bob. I come from the net, through systems, peoples, and cities to this place. Mainframe. My format?
Really? You're doing the whole opening monologue from the original series? You don't need to do all of it! You're gonna do it anyway, aren't you? They also end up finding Dot and Enzo, all of them looking like as if they were from Season 1. Nothing happened or changed. Same as it ever was! Same as it ever was! Megabyte also finds his sister Hexadecimal, played by her original voice actor Shirley Milner.
Pleased to delete you.
Though it is odd that her mask just moves on its own now. Now this part of the episode was okay. Interesting to see the original characters done in a new engine. What may throw fans off is when we get to see another known enemy. The User. The original User. Never seen, but only throws in GameCubes. And here he is, played by the episode's writer.
This is gonna be too easy.
I have several questions. So, ReBoot was also a show in this universe as well? Seeing all of the memorabilia? Based off the events that are going on in the mainframe computer? Which is disconnected from this guy's house?
And Mom said all this time in the basement was wasted.
Wow. What a slap in the face to the fans who were waiting for the show to come back in some way, shape, or form. This was definitely a weird episode. When ReBoot the Guardian Code was teased on YouTube, it was a sign of things to come. Sure, 600,000 views seem like a lot, but take a look at the likes versus dislikes. 16,000 dislikes to 2,000 likes. It was no contest. It was doomed from the start. Now, I can clearly see why fans have met the series with negativity, and they have every right to do so. It's a reboot of ReBoot! Yeah? It doesn't feel like it, though. As I said, it takes the formula seen in Code Lyoko and other shows in the same light, and tries to make it its own. Funny enough, Code Lyoko series co-creator Thomas Romaine actually responded on Twitter with the similarities to say, "Wow, you really liked Code Lyoko, didn't you?" The way it was distributed made it difficult for anyone to watch. The show premiered on Netflix everywhere, except for ReBoot's home of Canada, in which the original series had its largest audience, where we had to wait a few months to watch it on YTV. One episode at a time. Then the second season was completely shown on YTV, and waited a few months to be released on Netflix. The show aired from March 30th to September 28th of 2018, with 2 seasons and 20 episodes. To be honest, I thought the show was meh at best. I get that they wanted to do something completely different with the series, but I feel it just didn't work. Nor did it feel like they were even trying. In other words,
they just didn't care.
Now the question is, why was this show made this way? Well, the answer may surprise you. To understand this show's development, we look to the creator of the series, current CEO of Rainmaker Entertainment, Michael Hefferon. If you look at his IMDb, he has had a large repertoire of shows and movies he has done. His most recent was Spy Kids Mission Critical. But for this, we may need to look to one show he made back in 2006, called MP Force. What's the show about? Well, a couple of teenagers who play video games and have to fight a person with the virus that contains Cyrillopsin. Wait a minute! It's the exact same show. It's the exact same show as ReBoot the Guardian Code, with the exception that MP Force was 2D animated. He made the Guardian Code with MP Force in mind. All he did to get it off the ground was slap the ReBoot name on it just to get the brand recognition. In the winter 2018 issue of Indie Screen, when talking about the show, many have said not to make ReBoot his first project as the head of Rainmaker. He replied, "But whenever someone tells me not to do something, well, let's just say I love a challenge." It explains so much of the decisions that plagued the show and led to its early demise. To be fair, it may be the wisest decision to take ideas from your own book, especially when it came to the production of a little series called Beast Wars! As I said in the previous episode about Mainframe, Beast Wars had received backlash from the G1 Transformers community for how different the show was from its source material, the original Generation 1 Transformers series. What did they do? They listened to the fanbase and communicated with them to find ways to integrate the two shows together for its second and third seasons. But, having seen all that, it makes me appreciate what Mainframe was trying to accomplish when they were creating ReBoot. Create a series to show the world that they were more than just a one-trick pony. But they were more than that. And they were able to do the impossible. A half-hour CG animated series. A feat that hasn't been done before, but many would do since. Leading to success after success after success. And improving their craft with each one. Trying something new with the brands they are looking to adapt. From cel shading that they tried on ReBoot and finally getting it right with Spider-Man, to reviving toy brands when they needed it most. Mainframe Entertainment were the crowning kings of the medium, being able to write great stories with what limitations they had. They were once the biggest cornerstones of YTV, and it truly showed. This is a studio that I definitely respect. Things may change in the future, but you can't change the glorious past. When we come back, well, you're just in time. School's done for the day! Take a seat! Relax! You've earned it!
Next time on the YTV Retrospective.
Class is dismissed, boys and girls.
Bring your mind in for a lube and oil change before entering. Remember to keep your legs and arms firmly attached to your body at all times. Remove any palpitating devices. That includes your heart. And above all, don't forget your brain when exiting. Good luck. You're on your own.
The Zone.
Check this out. Check it out.
Certainly, sir. Will 64 gallons be sufficient?